Hi everyone, I'm Daniela and welcome back to Black Cat Kitchen. Today we're making an overnight breakfast strata. This recipe is so easy, you prep it all the night before and all you have to do when you wake up for a perfect breakfast is pop it in the oven. Let's get started.
You'll find a list of ingredients and measurements in the description below.
You can use whatever vegetables you like. I love mushroom and spinach in my omelets, so this is the perfect combination for me. But you can use any leftover vegetables that you might have from a roast dinner, roast potatoes, bell peppers, even Brussels sprouts.
Cut your desired vegetables down into small pieces so that they distribute evenly throughout the strata. I'm using cremini mushrooms and spinach. I like to roughly chop my washed baby spinach because it just helps it wilt a little bit easier. Alternatively, you could use a pack of frozen spinach that's been thawed out and drained completely. Add about a tablespoon of butter to a large pan and set it to medium heat. Once the butter is melted and bubbly, add in your mushrooms. The leafy greens will come later. I'm doing my mushrooms in batches so that I get really nice caramelization. Once the mushrooms have softened and started to pick up a little bit of color, season with a sprinkling of salt. While the mushrooms are cooking, let's prepare our eggy custard. Into a very large bowl, crack 6 eggs. Add in a teaspoon of mustard. I'm using English mustard and it has a little bit of a kick to it, but you can use Dijon or even dried mustard. Grate in a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. Whisk that together so that all of the eggs have come together and there are no stringy bits of egg white left. Add in 2 cups of whole milk. Chop in 1 to 2 tablespoons of chives. I like to use scissors to cut my chives because I find you get the nicest little pieces that way. Add in 3 teaspoons of salt and a few turns of freshly cracked black pepper. Now that our mushrooms have some caramelization on them, grate in 1 clove of garlic. You don't want garlic to be overpowering in this recipe, so 1 clove just gives a little hint. Give that about 30 seconds in the pan and then add in your spinach. The spinach will only take a minute or 2. I'm going to add another pinch of salt here, maybe half a teaspoon, because seasoning at every level is important. It really balances the finished dish. Butter the bottom and sides of a 9x13 casserole dish. Set your mushrooms and spinach aside to cool. Slice your day-old loaf of bread into cubes. I'm using about 400 grams of a good quality crusty sourdough.
It's best to use day-old bread for this recipe because the more stale it is, the more it will absorb the liquid from our custard. But if you've got a fresh loaf, once you've chopped it into cubes, just pop them in the oven for about 10 minutes at 350 degrees, about 180 centigrade.
Grate 400 grams of cheese. I'm using Gruyere, but cheddar will work or any really flavorful cheese. Add in about 2.5 cups, 290 grams of leftover meat.
You can also use any type of meat you like. I'm using leftover ham, and if you want my ham recipe, I've linked it below. Or you can leave the meat out altogether and keep it vegetarian.
Add 300 grams of your cheese to your egg mix, reserving 100 grams for the top. Now add in your cooled, cooked vegetables. Drop all of your bread cubes into your eggy mix. And I really find that your hands are the best tools here. Get in there and start mixing it up, helping the bread start to absorb all of the liquid. If you wanted to make this gluten-free, you could even use roasted or parboiled potatoes. Pour the mix into your casserole dish, making sure it's evenly distributed. Sprinkle the top with your reserved cheese. Cover with aluminum foil. You can bake it straight away, but the best part about this recipe is you can leave it to sit overnight in the fridge.
Before you get your coffee brewing for breakfast, make sure to preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius or 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This is also the perfect time to pull your strata out of the fridge so that the chill just comes off before putting it into the oven. Cover your strata loosely with aluminum foil and it will bake for about 35 minutes. Then we're going to remove the foil and let it brown and crisp up for another 20 to 25 minutes.
Cut some additional fresh chives all over the top.
You'll want to let this rest out of the oven for about 10 minutes before serving. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're more of a sweets person for breakfast, or even better, you want to add a dessert to this meal, check out my cinnamon bun recipe here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got so many great videos coming up soon, and we'll see you in the next one.